Hello everyone and welcome to Sunrise Tarot. My name is Leah and today I will be doing a reading for the beautiful sign of Aquarius for the month of September 2024. As you know, this is a general reading, so there will be parts that may not resonate with you. Only take the parts that do and leave the rest for someone else. I've already meditated on the cards, I've already shuffled the cards, and this is the spread that I have for you today. In the past position, we have the Ace of Wands, clarified by the Ten of Wands. In the obstacle position, we do have the Queen of Wands, clarified by the Ten of Swords. In the present position, we do have the Eight of Pentacles. You'll be working really hard, clarified by the Lovers. And then in the future outcome position, we have the Queen of Cups, clarified by the High Priestess. So the month of September, you have a lot going on. The good thing is that there's not anything that's necessarily bad or unexpected or some kind of a curveball. Everything is going to proceed as normal. However, there will be news and things coming out that are going to impact your trajectory, that are going to impact your path, if you will. But everything is going to normalize and settle down, but I don't see anything that you need to necessarily worry about. You have to continue staying committed to the task at hand. You have to continue meditating. You have to continue making sure that you are taking care of yourself first and foremost, in creating the reality that you want to see out of place of rest and stillness, so that it is the best reality that you can create. Now, in the past position, we do see that you started something new, because you have the Ace of Wands here in the past position, which is a card of a brand new beginning, some sort of a project, or some kind of a new job, or some kind of a home remodeling thing that you've undertaken. And it came with a lot of responsibility, and it came with a lot of obligations, like right off the start. It was a lot, but you made that choice consciously. You were aware that this new beginning is going to involve a lot of effort, a lot of time on your part. You took action into your hands, and because you are smart, because you do have a lot of life experience, you knew that this new beginning was different from other new beginnings that you've had in your life. And so as a result, the fruits of your labor, the rewards that you will be receiving, are going to be absolutely incredible. You were courageous. You weren't scared. You weren't deterred by these responsibilities and these obligations that were weighing heavy, in addition to everything else that you are responsible for and that you have to do, that is on your plate, that you have to take care of. We do see that in the obstacle position, you have the Queen of Wands. Some of your energy in the month of September may feel drained. You may feel like you're tired. You may feel like you are overspent, that you are spread thin. It's important, again, to remember to practice the self-care. But when you're tired, it's kind of hard to be confident. When you're tired, it's kind of hard to be assertive. When you're tired, you mostly just feel frustration and annoyance, and every little thing can set you off. So, watch those things. Make sure that you schedule meetings of stillness throughout the day to check in with yourself. Schedule a meeting with yourself where you can take a walk in nature to reconnect. Maybe play with the dog. When you connect with animals, they bring back your vibration. But obviously the best thing is to walk into a room, close the door, leave the devices behind, and just sit in silence for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, because it gives you a bigger picture, a bigger overview of your life. You're not so fixated and obsessed obsessed with one thing that drives you nuts. So it's important to feel connected on the inside, because the frustrated part of you is still, part of you. It's not just the freedom loving, the laughing, the enjoying part of you. It's also the frustrated part of you, which is the shadow kind of side. So accept all parts of you and make sure to remember that you have certain things to accomplish in this physical form, in this third dimensional reality on this planet Earth. So pace yourself, because you are a special human being, and sometimes we take ourselves a little too seriously. So it's important to remember to kind of chill out and have a laid back approach as much as you can, which I know is difficult for people sometimes, especially if they really, really care. But the Ten of Swords tells me that there's something you're not letting go of in the clarifying position. Maybe you're not letting go of what someone said, right? It's still kind of playing on repeat, on a loop in your mind over and over and over again. Remember, you don't live in the past, you don't live in the future. Your biggest and most important power is in the present, because in the present you create. You create whether you like it or not, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not. You create all the time, and all your creations are walking around you. The only time you can create is from the place of stillness, place of feeling restful, right? When you're not pressured or stressed, where you don't have to go do, where you can feel free, just being, be, just be. And when you are just being, when you're not doing, when you're not picking things up or putting them somewhere else or driving or walking, or when you're just being completely still, then the creations you create are your truest creations, are your truest, highest form of the creation you are supposed to have in your life. All the other creations you did when you were mad or frustrated or tired or whatever, they're still existing, they're still walking around, and just accept them for what they are. But again, your power is in the present, not in the past, not in the future. And so it's important to remember that. The Queen of Wands can also represent someone who is quite demanding in your life, and you want to make sure to distance yourself from that type of energy, because she can be kind of resurrecting the Ten of Swords moment back into your mind over and over and over. So you want to let that go, but you also want to remember that whatever happened in the past, disagreements, words being exchanged, people being unfair, leave that in the past, because those were lessons from which you've learned. It doesn't matter what lesson, there's always something you can learn from that lesson. So you say thank you for the lesson, you release that lesson. If you need to break a soul contract, then you break a soul contract by lovingly releasing, detaching from that person. They go their way, you go your way. But releasing and letting go is extremely important. Now, when you meditate, when you find that place of stillness, remember, you cannot think when you're meditating. So because thinking space is still kind of being attached to the illusion, you have to go above the thinking. So that space above the thinking, where you're just being, where you're not attached to the illusion, because there is no illusion, because there is no house or earth or anything. You're just being, just energy, just energy is just existing, right? So when you can reach that level, by quieting down the noise, because we're constantly bombarded by the radio, by the TV, by this, by that, by whatever. We're constantly bombarded by what our friend said or coworker said or family member said. You got to release all of that constantly. The better you become at it, the easier manifestations come. The easier manifestations just materialize in your in your life. And remember, if this is the first time you're watching my channel and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to follow what this woman is saying. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to, not think for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to wish upon a star, and boom, my manifestation is going to be right there. Do athletes compete in Olympics after one training session? No. Do, I don't know, billionaires make $1 billion with one sale? No. So it is something that you have to practice, because the more energy you put into it, the more you get out of it. Once you master manifestation, I will, propose for you to switch to a whole new way of living, if you will, where you're going to be not even concerned with manifestation, because it's like basic level or whatever. But when you haven't mastered manifestation, it is really kind of it takes a lot of time. It's really hard to see beyond that. Remember, the consciousness evolves, and so if you're not ready for the message, you cannot do the right thing with the message. So you have to learn one lesson before you can move on to the second lesson. In the present position, we do see that you're going to be working really hard because you have the Eight of Pentacles, which tells me that you are leveling up. When it comes to focusing, when it comes to concentrating, you're working partially on connecting everything on the inside of you. So as you're working, things are going to become easier. Some of you may be fixated on a particular relationship because you have the Lovers in the clarifying position. You may be working really hard on that relationship to make sure that it is just right and just the way you want. A part of you may be overly fixated on that relationship. Remember, a relationship is part of the illusion. A job promotion is part of the illusion. You don't need to work necessarily on that because it already exists. You work on you, and your vibration matches that vibration. So you're in a bubble, that which you want is also in the bubble, and the two bubbles just naturally come together. So it's important to kind of wrap your mind around that and grasp that concept. It's kind of, you don't need to work on a relationship because it is already perfect. What you're working on is how you see, the world in your perspective and how you feel. But you will be working very hard in the month of September. You will have not a lot of time in the month of September. So my suggestion is to prioritize, to organize, to take 5 problems and turn them into 2, because all problems have some sort of a common factor. When you figure that common factor out, you can narrow the amount of stuff you have to do. And so that's important to remember. The Eight of Pentacles also talks about paying attention to details. You want to make sure that you are super detailed when it comes to really paying attention. So the better organized you are, the more focused you are on the most important things. But the month of September is going to be, a month where you are focused on getting things, preparing things, lining things up. Many of you are also, with the Lovers, are working on aligning yourself, because the Lovers is a card that sometimes is interpreted by balancing your divine feminine and divine masculine, by aligning your spirit, your mind, and your heart, by incorporating your ego, your shadow side, and everything. So imagine you're sitting on the couch and there's that frustrated you sitting next to you. the first step to accepting all parts of you is just let them sit on the couch next to you without necessarily speaking to them, or pushing them away. Just allow them to be. And that is the first step of integration, right? Accepting yourself, not feeling anxiety when you think about, oh, well, that person saw me scream or whatever, and flip that other person off, or what have you. Accept the person that flipped off another person. That is still part of you. And it's okay, because sometimes we make mistakes and we learn from those mistakes. So you're really working hard on preserving, organizing on the outside, but also really working hard on the inside in making sure you feel aligned, you feel in balance and in harmony. Because your inner state decides what your outer state is, right? Your inner world decides what your outer world is. They say visualization is the number one step. Because I study at the Boulder Psychic Institute, but they teach us that visualization is the number one. If you have a thought in your head, that means the visualization has already occurred. So again, it's very, very important to meditate, because it clears out all the clutter and things become easier. All the wisest people I know give one advice: simplify, simplify, simplify. We tend to take things in life too seriously. We tend to crowd our mind, and so on and so forth. Simplifying is the way. And remember, the path, you are the path. You create the path as you walk forward. So what is in your mind decides everything. In the future outcome position, we have the Queen of Cups clarified by the High Priestess. The Queen of Cups is a card that tells me your relationships are going to be, good. You are viewed as a warm person. People like you. People consider your opinion. They consider your advice, because what you say is important to them. And your emotions are you're leveling up when it comes to your emotions. Like, you're better at handling your emotions. You're better at recognizing your emotions. And that's very, very important. Your emotions is the abdomen. The emotions live in the abdomen, the second chakra. And so the Queen of Cups is an interesting card. It represents the feminine, divine, which is create, 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 create. The thing about the feminine divine, it's also not just creation, but it's also compassion and nurturing. It's all those good things. But they have to be balanced with the masculine, because the masculine makes the order and the discipline and the structure and draws the borders. This is what I'll accept, and over there I will not accept. And the border is right here. Don't cross it. You know what I mean? So the Queen of Cups is a reminder that you need to have clear boundaries, not borders. Boundaries is what I'm trying to say. And her cup is the only one that is closed in the suit of cups. All the other cups are open. So her cup is closed for a reason. And she is kind of sitting on a throne facing the water, sort of away from the land. She's facing the water because water is the world of emotions. Water is emotions. That's why a lot of people like to live by the water, because the water inside of them talks to the water outside of them. And we're made up mostly of the water, right? So the Queen of Cups is a reminder: have boundaries. You can be nurturing and you can be compassionate, but up to a point, because you're not Mother Earth. Do not take the role of being Mother Earth. Mother Earth has seen 1,000 of you. So you're here to learn from Mother Earth. You're here to thank Mother Earth. But Mother Earth is in control and is doing just fine, despite of what you hear from other people. Mother Earth has been here for millions of years, for a very, 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 very very long time. So the ego can sometimes be like, well, I need to do all this and fix all that. Make sure you balance your feminine with your masculine. And the Queen of Cups is saying, check the boundaries, because you don't want to give too much of yourself and then find that your energy is depleted. You want to make sure that you're very much aware of the energy. You can help, you can provide advice, you can mediate between people, but you cannot give all of your energy away. You also have the High Priestess in the clarifying position, which tells me, your inner voice is bubbling to the top. Your intuition is developing and becoming stronger. And so it's very, very important to follow your intuition when you start feeling. When you start feeling, when you start paying attention to the triggers, to what frustrates you, follow the intuition, because the intuition is that quiet guidance that's guiding your ship into the port so that it's not lost at sea completely in, forever. The High Priestess also possesses important knowledge. She's sort of like in charge of the subconscious. The subconscious is everything. That is where everything is stored. You're sort of a slave to the subconscious because your conscious is like the mirror. Whatever the subconscious decides to give to the conscious, and it only gives about a small type of amount, because a lot of us think we're prepared, but many of us are not, because we're still triggered, because we still become overcome by our emotions, because we still kind of allow the emotions to be in charge of us rather than us being in charge of our emotions. So your subconscious is sharing more into the consciousness, and as it is, because you have the High Priestess in the clarifying position, so as the subconscious transfers more information into the consciousness, you become more aware, calmer, and really kind of realize your true power, right? Which is absolutely incredible. Now, let's see. The Shaman's Dream Oracle card is Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. And so definitely, you are standing on top of this mountain, which to me says that you can expect victory, because you've conquered something super important. And with the Queen of Cups here as well, you've mastered something when it comes to emotions, which is energy in motion. Mastering emotion is incredible. And so you were able to do that. Pay attention to the days around the full moon. I believe the new moon's going to be on September 2nd. That's going to be interesting, how your energy responds to that. And also on September 18th, people are warning about September 18th full moon is going to be also a doozy when it comes to energy. So make sure to do different rituals around the full moon, around the new moon. New moon is release, 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 release. Keep releasing. You think there is nothing left to release. There is more, because your consciousness is only aware of 10%. You're not fully understanding how much you need to release. So keep releasing, and it will become a habit, and it will level you up incredibly. But you're also helping your ancestors, and the ancestors are helping you. This karma is coming to an end. You're working through so much that is invisible to you. But it is there, and your ancestors appreciate it. I also pulled an Ancestor and Angel Oracle card, and we've got Hunter. Track down your fears and desires. So fears and desires. Pay attention. Pay attention to fears and desires. When you realize that, ooh, I'm kind of afraid of that. The moment you realize there's something you're afraid of, you are to run towards it. if you see a person that makes you feel uncomfortable, sit next to them. Sit with that energy, because that person was created by you. They represent something that you may need to look at. You don't have to talk to them, but sit with them. Because your mind again will tell you important messages. The information will leak from the subconscious into the conscious, and you will no longer be afraid. You'll overcome that fear. The same thing with the desires. Why do you want what you want? Is it your desire, or was it put there by someone else? First thing people say, I want a yacht, $1 billion, I want to be in the Mediterranean. If you're a man, you probably want, supermodels around you. If you're a woman, you probably want a whole bunch of, I don't know, horses or dogs, or, or maybe very rich men. I'm using this as an exaggerated example. It's not because you want it. It's because you have seen too many magazines or movies, which are supposed to program us, very much so, or listened to radio, or seen music videos where that type of lifestyle is glorified. That is called programming. That is foreign energy, and it's put in your mind to take away your power, to take away your inner voice. Again, simplify and really understand what it is that you want. And you cannot understand what it is that you want because you do not meditate. I also pulled 3 tea leaf cards. We've got Tower, which is solid foundation, success with effort. I was actually surprised to find out that in the tea leaf cards, Tower is positive. We also have Hammock, taking a vacation physically or mentally. How wonderful is that? And then we have Well, family wishes come true, which is really, really nice. Super positive spread. I really enjoyed doing it. I hope you did too. Please do, if it's not too much trouble, like, share, and subscribe. Please, if you know someone that would benefit from this reading, please share it with them as well. And do visit me on Instagram, and I will see you soon. Thank you.